Hey everyone, just a quick reminder that Lash Boss Summit is taking place on April 25th through 27th in Austin, Texas this year. Standard tickets are $4.99 and VIP is $6.99, and you can get $100 off either ticket if you use code LashBossRadio. The agenda, tickets, and more are all on lashbosssummit.com, so check it out and enjoy today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lash Boss Radio. I'm Shelby, your host, and today is a solo episode, and this is kind of a recap of 2024 and some resolution/goal setting for 2025. So 2024 was kind of a mix of a year. Like I had some amazing moments and also just some really challenging ones too. I'm sure everyone can relate to that a little bit because our industry did feel a little bit effects of things changing with clients' demand and also even some stuff with the economy a little bit too. So looking back on my year, something that really sticks out to me is Lash Boss Summit. This was a year that doubled in size from its previous year in 2023 when it was the first year in person. If you remember, I had done Lash Boss Conference and I changed the name later, but Lash Boss Conference was only online. And then whenever in 2023, I changed it to Lash Boss Summit, it was the first year in person in Austin. And then 2024 was the second year. So I kind of didn't know what to expect. Like, what was it going to be similar to the first year or not? And I will say in terms of like size, it did double in size, which was really cool to see. And a lot of people came back from the first year. And then there was a lot of new people that came too. I think a lot of times with events, you kind of want to see what the feedback is before you spend money on going to stuff. So that's kind of to be expected that it's not everybody's rushing in to attend an event that they've never heard of before. So I knew that it would grow slowly and also require a lot of like financial support from me because throwing events is not, you're probably not going to be profitable for quite a long time. I know talking to Paul and Tusney, they say the same thing about LashCon that for many years, like they lost money. So I kind of went into this expecting that. I didn't really go into this as another like way to bring in money or anything. It's just something I really, really wanted to do and was passionate about. I created Lash Boss Summit because I am an introvert. I feel uncomfortable in a lot of settings, even settings where it's like, why are you so uncomfortable? I still am. I don't know. It's a surprise that I'm even able to do a podcast, but the podcast is edited and you should hear how many times I have to say, wait, restart that or cut that out. I don't know what I'm saying. And I think that I just try to do it anyway. I try to, what's that quote? Like do it scared or whatever. So, but I know that there are so many people in the industry like me who are, sometimes it's hard to get out of your comfort zone or put yourself out there. Sometimes big crowds can be intimidating and also affect how you learn. So some of those people like to learn in small groups or learn online, but I wanted to create an event that you could go in person, you could network, you could learn, and it still feel calm and inviting and welcoming. So that's how Summit was born. And so I try to be really mindful with the like little things, and you'll just may not notice what those little things are, but you will feel it. So people that come out of Summit usually say, oh, this was really intimate and calm. Like that's usually the two words that I hear the most. So going into 2024's Summit, the second year, I knew the vibe would be the same, and hopefully it would reach the right people and the right people would come to the event. And I feel like that happened. I thought it was a beautiful event. The speakers kind of always blow me away, like at any event that I go to. And yeah, it was just cool sitting in the back, kind of just being like, wow, like these people on stage really know what they're talking about. And they just look so eloquent up there. And yeah, I was really proud of the event. I did get emotional at the end when I was saying, bye to everybody and getting to meet some people that I hadn't met over the weekend. And my parents were there. My grandma was there, my son was there, and I think even my family was emotional after the event. So it was really beautiful time. I love April. I love the spring, and so Summit is in one of my favorite times of the year, and it's just a time. If I look at the timeline of the whole year, like April is like has a little heart around it because it's just I love the spring because it's early enough in the year where you can still make some major changes and major moves. It's light, it's airy, it's bright, and it's also my birthday month. It's also the anniversary of Pink Lady Lash. So it's always just a really good month, high energy month for me. So started off the year really strong with Summit. And then shortly after was Lash Boss Retreats in July. And oh my gosh, getting to go to Europe and actually be with people that I know, because I've been to Europe before just a couple of times, but it was for just a brief time or just with people I didn't know because I've traveled in like a retreat group before that I didn't know anyone. And doing Lash Boss Retreats was kind of meant to feel like, okay, I may not know anyone going, but I do know that they're in my industry, and I do know I'm going to go and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to go get to see part of the world that I've been excited to see for a long time type of thing. So we went to London, Paris, Rome, Santorini, and every location was so breathtaking. Sometimes when I'm scrolling on my phone and I come across travel videos, and it really, like, I have a physical reaction to it. I get butterflies in my stomach and like a yearning in my heart. Like, I think I'm supposed to be eventually in Europe. I think I will end up there in retirement one day. I'm not somebody that needs much. And if you've listened to the podcast a while, you've heard me talk about retreats before. I don't need much, but I do think I need travel. Like, it just makes my heart is physically fluttering whenever I think about travel and when I am traveling. And so Lash Boss Retreats was one of the greatest points in my career, just getting to travel with other people. I was learning so much from Maddie, Elliot, Chris, Val, like such knowledgeable people. And it was so cool just sitting in their workshops and just getting to learn myself, like some of the artistry tips that they were giving. And then we'd go on tours or like enjoy dinner together. And it was so surreal. And then at the very end of it, I had one more day in Santorini, and I had already said goodbye to everyone from the retreat. And it was just me there. And I had Faith, my social media person, there too. And we just got to just enjoy that last day. And I was like, wow, like we did it. Like I had been looking forward to doing the retreat for like a year. And I was nervous that, okay, what if nobody comes? I was so scared of that. And then cut to every single retreat had an amazing group. Like, there were tears whenever we would say goodbye after each retreat. And yeah, it's something I will never forget. I will never forget those people from that first year of Lash Boss Retreats. And I'm really excited to go back this July. By the way, if you haven't looked into it, and if it sounds like something you want to do, please check it out. There are payment plans. It is such a good time. It is a tax write-off, and it is just so worth it. Yeah, I'd love to have you there and meet you if I haven't met you already. But yeah, those were the best parts of my year, I think, aside from the small moments that I spend with my son. But the later half of the year, the last half of the year, I don't know if it was just coming back from Europe and just being on that incredible high and then coming back to reality. But I did feel a significant difference in the last half of the year. I think also that's when I started noticing a little bit of a change just inside my businesses, where in the beginning of the year, I didn't really notice that as much. I think just with the economy and then the changes our industry experienced on all levels, from artists to brands, etc., we just all kind of were feeling it towards the end. And so I was really looking forward to 2025 as like a reset, refresh, get refocused. And I really have some high hopes for this year for a few reasons. I do think we are still going to continue to see clients either not wanting extensions at all and wanting lash lifts, or wanting very custom, very realistic looking sets. I interviewed Carrie McGrath from Luca Lash. She invented this method of using subtle color, and I do think we will see more of that, more brown lashes. I interviewed Lash Vacay Erica. She came out with 4 different types of browns. I swear, whenever I'm looking for brown lashes, I show them to the girls at Pink Lady Lash, and I'm like, is this kind of brown that we're looking for? Like, and I don't know, somebody is like, no, not this brown. We need this brown. We need, So having all of the different shades of brown from Lash Vacay, I'm so excited to try those. I do think brown lashes will take off. And it's really nice to see that some brands are recognizing that and giving us more options. So Light Heart Lash came out with a ton of brown shades, Lash Vacay as well. I know we recently got the mocha shades from Lash Box LA, and I think we will continue to see more brands doing that. And then also subtle color, not like only neons. I think that's awesome too. But I think we will start to see more clients, like a larger number of clients getting color in their lashes that isn't quite detectable. It will just look good and make your eyes kind of pop. And so that's Carrie's method from Luca Lash. So check out that episode. Check her out on Instagram. It's LYKKE Lash. I think that lash lifts are I feel like we were at our salon only doing like 10% of lash lifts. I feel like we're doing like 20 to 30% of lash lifts now is our services, where the rest is extensions. We only do lashes at our salon. So anything that happens to our industry, it is something that I'm paying very close attention to because it impacts my business a ton. We don't have other services like brows or skin or hair or anything to fall back on if we couldn't make lashes work. I do think that lashes will always be around. I do not think they will ever go away, because I think even though younger people will sometimes go in and out of trends and choose really dramatic or really natural or nothing at all, older clients are always going to want lash extensions. They do not have the length usually or the amount of lashes for lash lifts to be as impactful as you are when you're younger. But lash extensions provide some sort of like a lifting or anti-aging effect to them that I know whenever I get older, I will never go without lash extensions. And we see it in our clientele at our salon. I have said on this podcast before, I felt like Pink Lady as a salon had less of a up and down that I was hearing about from other people in the industry. And I feel like that's because our clientele is mostly older. So we have clients that we've been seeing for sometimes a decade, a lot of them for 5 years plus. And so we weren't seeing it as much in our area or just with our clientele, but we did see some change towards the end of the year. At first I was like, I don't see any change. And then towards the end of the year, I saw a little bit of change. And that's because we do have some younger clients too. But yeah, we've seen an increase of lash lifts a lot with our younger clients. So if that's something that, speaks to you at all, I would definitely take some online trainings or even in person if you can for lash lifts. We have Ellie Bana coming to Lash Boss Summit. I think they'll be doing demos at Lash Boss Summit, so you can kind of see in person. We did an online training with them recently as a salon, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. We also use Ruthie Bell at our salon, and so we think that we're going to use both because I think that there's a place for both. I think Ellie Bana has a great system, like their one-shot system. They also have Profusion. So they have 2 different lines. One is more gentle, one is like faster. And then Ruthie Bell is a more gentle line. And so we have clients that have loved Ruthie Bell for so long. And so we're going to bring on Ellie Bana as well, especially for their one-shot, because of the people that have just like more resistant lashes and just very strong, very straight. And so we think that the one shot might be best for them. So yeah, we took a training with them. We have learned so much just in that little training that we took. And so yeah, I think if you can take some classes and just push out a ton of lash lift content, what we're planning as a salon, which might be something you could look into too, is a whole lash lift day where all we're going to do is lash lifts, and we're going to use our judgment of like if we'll use one shot with Elibana or we'll use Profusion or Ruthie Bell, and kind of just play around with seeing how well that hypothesis was for each client, and just test that out on non-paying clients or just highly discounted models, and just have a full day of just working all as a team, doing models and clients all day, just lash lifts. And at the same time, our social media girl, Faith, will come. She'll take content. We'll get some really high quality videos and photos to put on our website and our social media, and even start running some ads for lash lifts. And I think, I'm somebody that usually is like a take matters into your own hands, or like, if I want something to change, I will do everything I can to change it. So if I'm noticing there's a shift in my clientele or something, if I were solo, I'd do everything I could to change that. And I would go back to the things that were working. I'd pivot when I needed to. I also try not to get too attached to like, well, this is my idea and I'm right and I know I'm going to be right. I try to, if I have an idea, I'll try it. And if it doesn't work, I don't feel bad about it. I'm like, I'll just change it. I'll just do something else. I don't ever feel like, dang, I was wrong. I just, no, it's out of my mind and I'm on to the next, like, I'm just pivoting and changing to find a different solution. So that's what I would do if I was solo, or if I had a salon. I would try to look at the trends and say, okay, how can we maximize this and optimize what we're doing, and change what's happening. So I do also want to take the Mesmerize method training from Luca Lash this year and take some models with that, put content on our social media for that too. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to just adding these new elements to our social media page and our website. I have noticed that we've increased our social media posting this year, just because we have somebody that does our social media about like part-time, I'd say. So we're only posting like a couple times a week on each page. But it has really helped with consistently putting out the messages and the type of content that we want, and working kind of in tandem with like, hey, this is what we want to say. This is what we want to promote. How can we make content that will do that? And so if you can get some help with social media, it is such a huge load off of my plate to not have to worry about what am I going to post? Oh no, I haven't posted this week. I need something to fill it in. You have somebody that their job is to look for things that they can help push on social media and create content around it. It's amazing. It's so cool. So all of the stuff that you see from Pink Lady, Lash Boss Retreats, Lash Boss Summit, Lash Boss University, that's all from my social media girl, Faith. She's amazing. And she's in my area too. So she comes a couple times a week, sometimes even once a week, gets some content and she puts it out. And it's been a real help to my business in just making sure that we're constantly in people's heads and on people's feeds. Another thing I'm looking forward to this year is kind of elevating the Lash Boss newsletter and Lash Boss radio episodes, because I've realized that this is the time that I actually get to talk to my audience. If I'm not making the social media anymore, it's like this is my time that I'm getting to speak and my voice. And so Lash Boss newsletter has never been written by anyone else. I'm the one typing in the tips and the updates and what's working for me, what's not, what I see is trending. And I've enjoyed doing that. I think last year I lost momentum a bit after retreats. And so this year I'm excited to rev that back up again and get to be the one that's talking to the audience. I also feel like Lash Boss Radio is one of the times where I feel, even though I mess up on my episodes every single time, there's not an episode that I've recorded, and I've recorded a couple hundred, there's not a single one that was not edited and not like needing some help because I'm like, oh, that wasn't right, like cut that. But regardless, I do feel so comfortable talking to guests and talking to the camera, if you will, because I know that I'm in the ears of somebody who's lashing a client right now, or I know that it's somebody that is looking for inspiration or wanting to do better for themselves. And so they're listening to these guests, they're listening to these topics, and they have so much intention and so much I just love that. I love when people are like going after it and yeah, seeking information. So yeah, I love this podcast so much, and I'm going to continue to do it for as long as I can. And so I'm looking forward to bringing in some new guests this year, and yeah, we'll see. I'm also looking forward to events this year. I'm going to try and go to more events that I haven't been to yet. I always go to LashCon. I've gone every single year that they've had it. I was even very sick one year, and I was in the hotel the whole time and never really attended LashCon, but I was watching it from my phone. But I love LashCon. I love Paul and Tusney a lot. But there's other events even in other countries. So last year in 2024, I went to the Beauty Summit. It was its first year, and it was in the UK in Southampton. I was a speaker, and I loved it. And I think they're holding it on my birthday in April this year. So I'm going to try and go to that one. I think I'm going to try and go to International Lash Masters in Australia this year. And if I can't make it happen this year, I will go for 2026. And then I think that there's some other ones in the States that I want to try out. I haven't been to Lubden Lash's event yet. I think it's in the Bay Area. I haven't been to International Lash Expo, which is in Arizona and Miami. And then I think Misha Aesthetics has one as well in California. So I want to check those out too. I really like to support everyone in our industry who's got their head on straight and trying to do good in the industry. But I'm also looking forward to Lash Boss Summit, of course, and Lash Boss Retreats. I think people are starting to realize what makes an event worthwhile and valuable. And I think we saw some events that weren't so good and weren't so valuable and didn't have a lot of integrity behind them. So I think we are hopefully out of that stage. And sadly, that happened. And I think we all kind of learned from that collectively of like what to look for. But I do think that means that for the events that are doing things right, we're going to see those events kind of take off. I am really looking forward to Lash Boss Summit this year. And we have lots of new faces coming on the stage. We have some new brands that are going to be there. Light Heart Lash is going to have a big booth this year. It's their first time having a booth at Lash Boss Summit. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. And then Lash Boss Retreats is going to 6 different places instead of 4 places like we did in 2024, which is, I can't wait. I've never been to the south of France, so I'm so excited about that. I love Emily in Paris so much, and I've said that a lot on this podcast, so I'm really sorry if you've heard that before, but I love it. And I'm super pumped for that. I'm flying into London first for the month I love London. It's my favorite place ever, and I love everything about it. So I'm flying into there. And then I'm heading to the first retreat, which is actually in Italy at the Amalfi Coast. And Ashley and Hakeem Gonzalez are going to be the educators on that one. By the way, did you guys see the lash battle online that Hakeem and I and Dennis did? If you didn't know, that was a total, like, I don't know what you would call that, joke, like spoof, satire. So we all kind of like got on and did these little diss videos, and mine was like a Taylor Swift theme at first. And Hakeem was like, Shelby didn't win a Lashy Award. Dennis didn't win a Lashy Award at LashCon, so I'm going to battle them. And then we got on there and like defended our names. And then we all did a lash set, and I did a wispy set for the first time. And some people didn't think it was wispy enough, which is fine. And Dennis, the king of wispy lashes, did a wispy set, obviously. And then Hakeem, it was his first time doing a wispy set, and he actually used some pre-made spikes, I think, and stuff from PLA. His wife works for PLA, and his set was so freaking good. And so he won the battle, and well-deserved. It was amazing. But yeah, love Ashley and Hakeem. They're coming to Italy. They're doing the Amalfi Coast retreat, and I'm so excited to travel with them. I think they are so much fun, and I I think I met them probably 2-ish years ago, 3 years ago maybe at LashCon, and I got to talk to them for a little bit and just feel like they have such great energy and they're very cool together. Like separately, love them both, but together, I don't know, you kind of have to you probably obviously can tell from online, but even in person too, it's just really cool to experience. So I'm so excited to travel with them. And then after that, going straight to Dubrovnik, Croatia. My gosh, this one sold out really fast. We ended up getting one more seat open for that. So I don't know if it will still be open by the time this is aired, but the Croatia, well, the Croatia retreat sold out very, very fast. I wasn't sure it was going to do that. Like if people even really were interested. But if you watch Game of Thrones, then you know about Croatia. Paul and Tuscany from Lashcast, and then Maddie and Elliot from Lightheart are going to be the educators. So there's so many workshops at the Croatia retreat. And Maddie and Elliot taught at the Paris retreat this past year, and it was so good. Maddie is such a good instructor, and I was learning a ton from her mega volume lesson. And then Elliot taught about marketing, which was really, really cool because they're such a dynamic duo, also like Ashley and Hakeem. Elliot is very smart with like marketing and ads and everything. So I was like, you got to teach this at the retreat. So they're coming back. They're teaching again in Croatia. And then Paul and Tusney will be there too. And Tusney has been educating for a very long time. She's a great educator. I've hosted her before at my salon. And then Paul, you guys all know Paul from Lashcast and LashCon. He is a hoot and also very knowledgeable too. So I'm very excited to travel to Croatia with them. From there, we're going to Zurich, and that will be with Dennis Rodriguez, Denny Diva, and Tress Larson. So, Switzerland, I chose that place because it has all of the mountains and rolling hills, and like it's like very the sound of music, and very just it's always been kind of on my bucket list because on my For You page or even in my Instagram Explore page, my stuff that comes up is travel, business, Taylor Swift. I don't know. At this point, it's like Wicked right now. But a lot of travel. And I've always kind of seen Switzerland. And at first, when I didn't really know what I was looking at, I just would be like, oh, I love that place. I love that place. I love that place. And I'd see it all the time. And then I realized this is Switzerland that I'm looking at. So when I was choosing the locations for the 2025 retreats, I was like, I have to do Switzerland. And I don't know if it's going to take some convincing from other people to make you see how amazing and beautiful it is. But if you know, you know. Switzerland is gorgeous, and I cannot freaking wait. So, Tress is probably one of the most centered and grounded people that I've met in our industry. She is very like locked in when you're talking to her. I feel like I've learned so much from her just by talking with her and interacting with her. And she's somebody that is very observant and is able to see what the issue is somewhere, speak to it so eloquently. And yeah, I don't know. She's really good at like breaking through with people. I know that she does some coaching as well. And so her workshop is going to be more mindset focused and kind of breaking through any hurdles that everyone is having. And then Dennis is going to be teaching on artistry. So I'm really excited. We all know Dennis from his Instagram. He does awesome on social media. And so I think we're going to learn a lot about that too. Next is Santorini, actually. There was a change that happened after going to Santorini this past year. And I was like, I have to go back to this place. So we added it. I called Rebecca. She's the one that's going to be the guest educator, Rebecca Piccolo, Lashes by Reb. I called her while I was in Santorini. And I was like, I think we need to change your location to Santorini because it is breathtaking. We went on a like boat ride, and it was just our group by ourselves. The boat, the drivers of the boat were these two women, and they cooked us this amazing Greek meal, and it was so good. And I had tears in my eyes. I have this video of me just like on the boat, closing my eyes. The sun was setting, and I have never felt that way in my life. It was so peaceful. And So I knew I had to go back. I am so excited to be back. The people there are so nice and beautiful. And yeah, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, I think. So Santorini with Reb is going to be incredible. After that, we're going to the south of France, Nice, France, with Michelle from PLA. She is the incredible mastermind behind Paris Lash Academy and PLA Nails. She has built this incredible business, which I have something to add to this after talking about these last two locations. So Michelle has built this incredible business with systems and all of this stuff with amazing success, with still having such a giving heart, a lot of integrity, strong moral compass. And I really like to see people like that get successful. And so we're going to hear from her on some of the lessons that she has to impart on us. And I'm just excited to travel with her and be that close with her, like for several days, just getting to enjoy her company and learn from her. We could all learn so much from her. PLA is the biggest brand in our industry. So I think that says a lot. And I will say also that PLA is fairly new. Like they're probably like 6 years into the industry right now, which is kind of wild because a lot of them have been around since like 2010, 2011, 12, 13. So yeah. The last retreat is in Paris. We went to Paris this past year and we're doing it again. Chris Carr, he was the Santorini educator this past year. We're doing Paris with Chris and Mackenzie. Both of them are incredible educators. Incredible. If you've ever been to an event that Mackenzie is teaching at, that room is filled. Like usually only standing room is available because people are so obsessed with her, and just she's brilliant and so good at social media, so good at artistry, and you could just tell that she's a good person. So yeah, understandably people are obsessed with her. Chris is the same way. Chris is, if you have seen him at an event, people are trying to take pictures with him left and right because he's also super magnetic too. He's an incredible educator, speaks so well. But I also love Chris because he's kind of like an introvert too. But if you start to get to know him, he's kind of, he's very funny. And I just think he's great. So great educators at all these events and really good people too. That's a really important thing when going to an event, is that you know that the people that you're learning from have a good head on their shoulders. And I want to say, so I'll close that thought here just with like, I'm looking forward to this part of the year of going to these retreats again. Now that I've done 2024 retreats, it feels like 2025 will be a lot breezier and easier because I know what to expect now. It was definitely something that caused a lot of like anxiety leading up to the events and even like during them too, because it felt like, it was just like, it was new and it was the first year of it. So there was a lot of pressure. But yeah, going into this year is going to be really, I think I'll get to relax a little bit more. And we kind of restructured it to where the workshops are just a little bit longer to give more of a deep dive, and some of the free time is just a little bit longer because I noticed that we wanted more of that this past year versus like tour after tour. So yeah, it's going to be so good. I love the format of this coming year. If you want to check it out, lashbossretreats.com. Okay, so I'm definitely looking forward to pushing my businesses to try and optimize them and getting past this. Like, I feel like we've hit this plateau in my salon, in my academy, and I want to push past that. And I think it's just going to require some intentional campaigns and social media messaging and content. I think that we're kind of revving up on email marketing too, and just like the marketing processes as a whole is something that I'm focusing a ton on this year. This is the first year. Actually, I think last year I did this a lot too, but I have been focusing very much lately on myself as the leader and really trying to understand what my role is, because for a long time, when you own your own business, you are wearing all of the hats in the beginning. You are doing everything from cleaning to scheduling to doing the service to the follow-up and everything in between, the social media, everything. And right now it feels like all of the things are in place to where we have help with our marketing, help with every aspect and every kind of department, if you will. And so it feels like I'm able to very well recognize what I need to be doing. And so I'm going to be contributing a lot to the marketing this year in all of my businesses. And I really just want at the end of this year to be like, wow, like all of that paid off. Here's what I learned from that. And I can't wait to do like a recap and follow up to this at the end of the year. But I think that when, all of us are business owners here pretty much, I think there's so much that we're constantly thinking about and we're constantly trying to do for our business, but we don't realize the things that we're doing at home and in our personal life play a big part in that. So the other thing that I'm working on this year is taking care of myself to the point that is having payoffs that feed into my business too. So getting better sleep, eating healthier, being more active, and just trying to keep my cortisol down. I think those things are going to pay off in my business too. So the last thing that I want to say is just, I really think that our industry is so lucky to have the people in it that we do. Like the brands that we have are, we've, as a whole, as a community, have put these brands in a place where they're able to grow and be successful because we appreciate certain things in that brand. So the brands that are very generous and giving back to our community all of the time, the brands that are pouring into education for our whole community, who are coming to these events and giving, just being so giving to the community. We have put those brands in a position to do that more and more and more and more every year. And therefore, it has set a bar and a standard very high for any upcoming brands that want to enter the industry. You cannot scam us. You cannot have low integrity or morals. You have to have your head on straight. You have to do right by people and give back to the community for you to be successful in our industry. And that is because of all of us in this industry that have said, hey, this is the type of company that I want to support. These are the type of companies I will not support. And that is why we see the certain companies that we do see at the top, because of what they do for the community and just how great they are. So I'm just really proud of our industry for that reason. And I just had to say that. So overall, I'm just very proud of the industry as a whole. I think that the whole, like other industries, can learn from this. As we need to be rewarding companies that are doing the right thing and not just looking to make a profit. And I think that that is so important. And we can all really learn from that too, because that means on a smaller scale that if we are serving our clients and we are serving our community in our area, that comes back to us tenfold, because I think people are starting to realize like the people that they do and don't want to support anymore for reasons like that. So anyway, this was a fun episode to do. Thank you so much for listening, and I will be back very soon with the next episode.